Hey guys, welcome to another episode. This is an intro. So before we jump into this beautiful episode that I do with Eveit, I told you guys I'm going to have a lot more guests on the podcast and they are more in the pipeline. So I really wanted to welcome her because she is a beautiful person to get to know. And this episode will have you always on your edge of the seat. We talk about so many topics. Like literally we go from domestic violence and, what it's like to handle that to like really feeling lost and broken to manipulation. We talk about trauma. We talk about everything. Like literally nothing was hands off in this episode. So Yvette is a women's empowerment coach and she helps you from going from lost to found. And she does a lot of We Rise events in Melbourne because she is Melbourne based. She is launching a new program that is a 6-week program. And it's about finding yourself in the chaos of life because us as women, we do lose ourselves in the chaos of life. When we have children, we do lose ourselves. We lose our identity, sense of self, and all those sort of things. And then same with like if we move house, we change jobs, any big life altering thing, we do lose ourselves sometimes. If we, feel like we've got to please like other people or we can't be ourselves around other people, we lose ourselves that way. So it's really all about that. So it's a 6-week program and she helps you go from obviously lost to found. She helps you with multiple healing modalities that she has learned herself. So which she does actually talk about in this episode as well. And so you learn to trust yourself, trust your intuition, and you learn to find more clarity within yourself. That is the whole basis of her program. We did have technical difficulties in this episode, so that is why that she didn't actually talk about it, because she actually did when we were recording, but for some reason with the footage and things like that, there was no sound and had to like crop that. So I wanted to do this intro to really give you guys an understanding basis of her and what she's actually promoting. So you can actually go and check her out on Instagram. She does give you all those details at the end of the episode. So just shoot her a DM. She's very responsive. But with this new 6-week program that she is about to launch, I would definitely advise if you are feeling lost or, you can't trust yourself, no intuition, you feel really like a shell of yourself, I would even say, this is literally for you. And in that package of her program, she's actually offering some healing sessions one-on-one, which are actually done in person. So if you are in the Melbourne area, she will actually help you work face-to-face, one-on-one. Okay. And that is all included if you purchase the 6-week program, but also she does do that as its own entity as well. Okay. So I just really wanted to give that all grace because it's an amazing program. I'm so excited for her to launch it. And I'm excited for you guys to get on board and listen to this episode because honestly, it is amazing. Nothing's hands off. And so anyway, let's get into the episode and you can find out what I'm talking about. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Becoming Invincible podcast. I am your host, Talia, and I am so excited to have you here. This podcast is to reframe your mindset, challenge those limiting beliefs that you may have when you're navigating all the situations in your life. And I'm here to give you tools to help you navigate them in such a healthy way and to harness your personal power that we tend to lose along the way. So settle up, get ready, grab a coffee and get ready for some juice in each episode as I throw you what life has thrown me and we can navigate this shit together. Welcome to another episode, and I have a beautiful guest joining me today. Welcome, Eveit. Thank you so much for coming on to the podcast. We have had quite a morning with technical difficulty, everybody.
We definitely have, haven't we? It was like the audio, then the camera, then your phone, then my camera. It was just an incredible thing. But thank you so much for having me on your podcast. I'm so grateful to be with you.
Thank you for joining. And I'm so blessed because we actually had a mutual friend connect us. So that's how we're doing an episode today. So exciting. And I've said to everyone, like, oh, I'm getting more guests on and everything like that. So I'm so excited to bring them this beautiful episode that we can do together. And I love that we got connected like so beautifully. It just happened so natural.
Yeah, it's just meant to be.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, so obviously I have like a structured questions, but we'll just go however the episode takes us and then go from there. I just feel like you just never really know how it's going to go, and you just want to feel like, okay, however this is explored, we'll go wherever it takes us. So
That's 100%. I love the go with the flow episodes because it brings out the best of us. Because we don't have to prepare for anything, and we're so natural and authentic. It makes it so good. I love that.
Absolutely. Yeah. How about you just tell everyone about yourselves and introduce yourself, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm Eveit and I'm a women empowerment coach. So I help women go from lost, lacking clarity, lacking confidence, unable to make decisions for themselves in life, in their business, and actually becoming the woman that is more empowered, that is trusting her own intuition, trusting her own self, and making clear decisions with confidence.
Oh, I love that because I do feel like, especially this day and age, we as women, we go through life and there's so many seasons of life that I really believe makes women sort of lose a sense of themselves. And we sort of like even motherhood, like becoming a mom, you sort of lose yourself. It's all about the kids and your hormone levels change and everything like that throughout like pregnancy and then postpartum. Yeah, so I actually really love that you really empower and work with women because I think that is so important.
100%. Like you said, like women, we think about ourselves as last. If I was to go out and do research right now and ask all the women, who do you think about most of the day? If they're a mum, they're thinking about their work, their family, their kids, and their partners. And then I say to them, well, are you actually thinking about yourself? Are you actually considering yourself throughout the day? And most women say to me, no, we don't actually at all think about ourselves. And that's the sad part because then you start losing yourself in the process. And trauma is a big one, which we'll talk about a bit later, but trauma can also make you, lose yourself.
Absolutely, because there is so many different types of trauma and people don't really realize. And I do feel like trauma is like quite demonized. It's just things that happen in our life and it paves the path and all those sort of things. So how about you tell everyone a bit about your story? So why did you get into helping women? Like why was that a thing for you?
Well, it's definitely something that I'm very passionate about because I've been there. I've done that. I've always been lost throughout my life. Back in the day when I was so lost, I don't remember who I truly was. Because ever since I was a young girl, I was programmed and I was told by my parents that you have to help everybody else. You have to be selfless. And I'm sure a lot of the listeners right now will be like, yeah, actually, I've been taught to be selfless as well. In a way that we give everybody everything, we help everybody, but we don't help ourselves. We don't think about ourselves again. So my parents raised me to be this strong one in the family, the one that helps everybody. Even my older sister, who's older than me by 3 years, who's amazing and I love her deeply. She was the one that my dad taught me to always stick up for her. If she was bullied or, attacked, I'm the one that jumps in and helps her. But she's older than me. She should be protecting me. So as growing up, because I've locked that thought process that I've got to be selfless and help everybody else. As I grew up into my adulthood, all I was attracting was people that needed my help, colleagues that needed my help, friends that needed my help. Till one day I actually married somebody that needed my help. And I actually married him for the reason of helping him. I was like, you know what? I really want to help this man to be a better version of himself. Let alone that I knew that this man was actually going to take me on a whole level of a healing journey. He was a very narcissistic, abusive partner. And I used to be like, well, you know what? That's what you do. You just take it. And you didn't recognize the signs of that it's actually abuse. And then till one day he actually was having an argument with me and my dad stepped in and my dad has passed away now, but he stepped in and he said to him, this is actually not right. You shouldn't be doing this. You shouldn't be hitting her. You shouldn't be yelling at her. You shouldn't be financially controlling her. This is have to stop. In that moment, he actually, my ex-husband, actually threw a chair at my dad. And that was a pivotal point in my life. I was like, my dad's my hero. My dad is like the person that I look up to all the time. You can't break my dad in front of me. If you break my dad in front of me, you need to get out. That was a very big pivotal point in my life where I said, you know what? Enough is enough. You need to leave. I had a 2-year-old son and I was pregnant with my second. My 2-year-old son, I was looking into his eyes and I was like, is this the life that I want to give you for the rest of your life? Or do I need to protect you from all of this? My whole body was shaking. I needed to get out. Like my intuition, my heart was pumping. It was screaming out at me saying, you need to stop and you need to look after yourself and you need to come back to who you are. And that was a very pivotal point for me when I said, you know what, I need to get out. And when my friends started saying things to me like, we don't know who you are anymore. You don't smile. You're not the bubbly, happy person you are. If we don't know, we feel like you're so lost in life. And I said, you know what? You're actually right. I am lost. I don't know who I am anymore. So that was a very pivotal point for me. And the reason why I do the work that I do is because I don't want any woman to feel the way I was feeling. I want to be able to help her on her journey, to feel empowered, to feel like you can say no anytime and pick yourself up and go. It doesn't have to be domestic violence. It can be just as trauma in a lifetime that has caused you to lose yourself. And therefore, if you don't trust yourself and you don't help yourself, you're not going to be able to help your family, your friend. You're not going to have that ripple effect on everybody else and also in your business, which is really important for me because I run my own business, so I know what it's like.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so much there. Oh my gosh, I appreciate you sharing so much because we've obviously had our chats off camera and behind house. And you have such a powerful story, which I really feel like would resonate with a lot of listeners because I come from like narcissistic abuse. There was a lot there where I was like, oh my gosh, because I feel the same. Like I was like, oh my gosh, we align so well because my dad's not here anymore either. It's such a light in my life, you know. I used to be quite people pleasing and, you know, yeah, I did everything for everyone, never for me. I was always the last person, never thought about me. Just I want to make everyone happy, you know. So I fully resonate. I was like, oh my gosh, yes. And I didn't realize until obviously when you go through such a hard time in life that we actually are a perfect candidate for a narcissist. We actually attract them in because we put ourselves last. We, you know, make sure everyone is happy. We're people pleasing and we don't realize. And that stems from when we grow up. You know, I feel like women do feel stuck because I actually didn't think that manipulation, mental abuse, I didn't know that that comes under domestic violence. And so it's actually really good for people to know that because I didn't know. They said, oh, you've been in a domestic violence relationship. And I was like, oh, what do you mean? Like, no. But they were like, yeah, it's the push and pull, it's the manipulation, the gaslighting, you know, the baiting, everything. And sometimes it can lead to physical, like my heart absolutely goes out for those that do receive that. But also just shining a light on like what actually is a domestic violence relationship, because I do believe that people only think it's physical. And, you know, and I feel like mental can be just as, I mean, not just as hard, but it can be really difficult, you know, and
It really
very
does,
toxic.
yeah.
Yeah. So on that, obviously your pivotal point was because he threw a chair at your dad and was really trying to isolate you, right? And really get you like, oh, you don't need anyone but me and like you are nothing basically. So how did it go when you were having your second? When did you get out?
So I got out at that point when I looked at my son that night and I said, enough is enough. I don't want to give my children, I was like first trimester, quite fresh, you know.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I didn't know she was going to be a beautiful girl, but at the time I was like, I've got another baby coming and there's one in my hand right now. Is this the life that I want for my kids? Do I want to expose them to a lot of this trauma or do I take the courage and say no and enough is enough? So I decided from that day actually to say no, enough is enough. And I've asked him to leave the house and, you know, went through the process as everybody does. But like you said, A lot of women, which I also didn't know when I was in a domestic relationship, I didn't know that emotional abuse was a thing. I didn't know. I just thought that's just his personality. Him saying, you're not good enough. Who do you think you are? Things like that was not really evident to me that it was abuse and all the gaslighting, like you said. And it's really important that we shed the light and we say to people, it is not right. And I didn't know sexual abuse was even a thing because I've been programmed by my culture is that if the man is interested in sexual activity with his wife, that's his right. You don't say no. So I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting that that was something that I didn't even know about. But once you come out of this, you actually realize. And it's really important that we shed the light on these little things so other women can feel empowered to say no. Time is for me right now. And don't wait for the perfect time because the perfect time for you is right now. If you need to get out, get out. If there's a lot of support out there for you.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of people, because obviously men experience domestic violence too, but because we're talking primarily on women, I do believe you tend to feel stuck and like, I don't know what to do, because I definitely felt that. I was like, I don't know what to do in my life. I know I need to get out. I just don't know how. So as you were trying to get out, obviously it was your son who gave you that courage, because I think that's a very powerful question. I think a lot of people really need to sit with that is when you have children, is this the life I really want you to live? Because he's going to grow up thinking that's okay to treat a woman like that, right? And then obviously with your daughter, she's going to think, oh yeah, that's what it's meant to be like. If someone right now needed to get out and they're in this situation, but they're just not really sure, what advice would you give them to get out of the situation?
I would say exactly what you just said. Is this the life that I want my children to grow up in? Do I want my son to treat another woman the same I've been treating by my partner and their father? Or do I want to raise my son to respect women? And the same thing for my daughter. Do I want my daughter to feel like she can just get hit and abused and that's fine and that's normal? Or do I want to raise my children to be saying, no, that's not right, and actually call it out if it happens in front of them and say, stop, you can't do that. And empowering them to be the better version of themselves. That was a pivotal point for me. If you don't have children, though, it would help you because there's 1 in 4 women that go through domestic violence. It's a huge statistics, and we lose a woman or 2 every month due to, the domestic violence. So I believe that if we can share this message to anyone that is out there that's going through that, your life is worth you escaping this.
Yeah.
You're worth it, and I need you to believe it and be feeling that energy. Yes, I'm worth living, because that's the powerful message here. I'm worth living. You something. You're a daughter, you're a sister, you're a friend, and all these people want you to be there.
I love that. That's so true. It's so powerful because you do lose your self worth when you're in a relationship like that. It's hard to navigate also. So, of course, if people didn't have children, you got to think of yourself and you got to start taking your power back and thinking of you. And is this actually the future you want to live? I will dip into this a little bit before my next question, actually. So, because you said culturally, that's just how it is, right? And I do understand that in a lot of cultures, it seems to be the thing. In some cultures, they can have multiple wives. When you got out of this situation with your ex and everything, and you were starting to, I don't know what's next, but I'm going to try and figure it out. When you sort of see it from what I've learned and grown up with culturally, how did that affect you? Because that would have actually been quite hard to have that realization. How was that, just for anyone who does experience that culturally? What was your experience when you grew up thinking that that is okay?
So the first step was when I took that decision that enough is enough and I can't do this anymore. I actually in that moment never thought about the culture, never thought about what people were going to think about me or do to me, or, disown me or whatever. But it was afterwards that I started feeling the shame because I was getting the guilt trip from the church, friends, family. You need to get back together. We don't get divorced in our family, things like that. And how I processed all of that was I always kept reminding myself of my children and my children's safety. And I kept saying to myself, are these people living the life that I'm living right now? And my answer to this question was always, no, they're not. Do they feel the feelings that I'm feeling right now? No, they're not. So how can they have a say in my life? How can they judge me and have a say and say, you know what, you're not good enough. You need to go back. You need a man in your life, which is what was told by a lot of people in my life. I was like, I don't. You don't live the life that I live. You don't feel the feelings that I feel. So I always just kept reminding myself over and over again that it's not about them. It's actually about me and my children and my family. And they can project a lot of things at me. They can say a lot of hatred things about me, but it's not going to help me going back. Going backwards was not going to help. So that's why this is how I did it.
That's amazing. Wow. Yeah, because everyone would feel that like shame, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be disowned. Because especially back in hunter gathering days, right? That's our way of like surviving, was if you got disowned by the village, then your life was on the line. So
It's
it
pretty
can
much over.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's why we have those feelings of when we don't belong in places, right? When children grow up and high school feels like the craziest thing in the world, because our bodies are from hunter gathering days. And this is like the same response your body has of, I don't belong here. I need to belong somewhere. And I do know that it would actually be a big thing culturally. It's actually really powerful, I believe, like your story with everything, because you asking the powerful questions also of, are they actually living the life that I want? Because it's a lot to really ask yourself that, especially when people feel guilt and shame and things like that. So since coming out of everything and moving forward, how has a co-parenting dynamic been?
So at the start, it was very aggressive because we're going through the whole process of the financial split, the family courts, and everything else. I've always tried to just step back into my power and tap into my heart and just be like, you know what? He no longer has power over me. And this is just a process for the legalization to happen. After we finished all the legal bits and pieces, it was more peaceful because it's all finished. It's all on paper. Everybody knows what they're doing, who's got the rights to do what. And he sees my children every second weekend. And I don't talk badly about their dad in front of them because that's their decision to make at the end of the day. I don't want them to hate their dad. And that's really important for a lot of the women out there to realize as well. It's not your job to make your children hate the other parent, whether it's a male or a female. Let them see the person for who they truly are when they're ready to see it, because your children may not be ready now and it might actually traumatize them. So yeah, that would be one advice for me.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think it's a very big thing. A lot of people can swing into those dynamics because of the emotional hurt that they're feeling. So, what drew you to healing? How did you get starting on your journey to really heal through the process? Was there anyone that you seeked advice from? Did you see anyone on social media? Where did you start with your journey?
Yeah, thank you for asking that. It's a beautiful question. So after my ex-husband, I didn't learn the lesson. So I went back for more and I attracted another narcissistic partner. And really, he actually hurt my heart. Like, my ex-husband was not the love part of it. It was just like I married him because I wanted to help him be a better version. But this person I actually fell in love with, and he really hurt me. So I'm like, you know what? This is not right. I need to change something because obviously I'm repeating cycles over and over again. It needs to stop. It needs to change. So I started looking into crystals. I was always attracted to crystals and I love crystals. I still do. I'm wearing a lot of crystal bracelets right now. I started my healing journey just finding out about different crystals, getting crystals, tarot cards, oracle cards, everything else. And then I said, you know what? I feel like I need to go on to someone else that can help me energetically. So I've been to every single healing modality on the planet Earth. Just so I can experience it and heal myself as well. Till one day I was actually at a market selling crystal bracelets and my crystal. And the lady behind me actually said to me, "Have you ever heard about this Aboriginal healing modality?" And I was like, "Aboriginal healing modality? We live in Australia. Like, I need to learn this. Like, what's happening?" And as soon as she said it, my heart was pumping so hard. I was like, "I can feel the beat. I can feel the beat. Tell me more about this. I want to know more." And she's like, "Yeah, it's called holographic kinetics." An Aboriginal elder called Steve Richards teaches it. And I was like, I need to know this. I need to experience this. This is profound. And she's like, "Yep, go to the Mind Body Spirit Expo on the weekend and try it." So I did. I actually went in and had a session, and on the spot, I actually paid for the course. So this was a Friday, and the Monday following was the course starting. And I was like, "You know what? I'm starting this course. I need to learn how to do holographic kinetics, dreamtime healing." And it's the old cultural way of teaching. And I'm so forever grateful for Steve Richards, who's the Aboriginal elder who teaches us this, because this has been passed on by his grandmother, and him sharing his knowledge and his expertise and his cultural way of doing things, even if we're not Aboriginal, is an honor. And I'm so forever grateful for that.
Oh, beautiful. Wow, that's amazing. Especially because a lot of people don't know about that. So that's really, really cool. Oh my gosh. And especially that came from someone being like, "Oh, did you hear about this?" So that's like amazing.
Yeah, it was so random. And I was like, I'm going on this healing journey and I'm experiencing all these healing modalities. And I'm like, you know what? This is meant to be that I hear about this. And I believe the universe drops in information to us when we're ready to hear it.
Yeah, definitely. I love that. The Aboriginal type of like spiritual healing and everything like that, that is so different. And it would actually make such a big impact as well, because I really do feel living in Australia that they have such a strong heritage on healing and spiritualities. I absolutely love like when they do workshops and things like that. So I actually love there's something like this out there, because I do feel like a lot of people, they don't really understand true healing as such. A lot of self-development, I find, and that's why I started my podcast, because everyone thinks it's like it's an extra job or something, or, "Oh, I've got to do this, this, and this." And it's like, oh, it's just a lifestyle change. Like, and so with like your crystals, you've created a business, which is amazing. So how about you tell everyone a little bit about that, how you started it while going through one of the hardest things in your life. And then, of course, like pattern repeating with that guy. How did that sort of get started all amongst all of this happening?
Yeah. So once I started trusting myself and going on that healing journey with the Aboriginal healing modality that I was telling you about, I actually started to remember who I truly am and how powerful we all are. And so I was like, you know what? This is the time for me to do something for myself and the children and have an impact. I wanted to have an impact on other people in their life too. So that's how J and J Rise Hill was born. So J and J is my kid's initial, Jeremiah and, which is the N, Dulicia. And then Rise Hill is because I believe that if one woman rises, it gives permission for another woman to rise too.
Beautiful.
It provides the aspect of, like, even my logo, it's the sun, which is your higher self, and then the hand taking you to the sun, which is on the bridge to help you achieve all your desired goals and reaching to your higher self. One person rises, it gives permission for another person to rise too, because they can see that it's possible.
Absolutely. That's so beautiful and so true. I think everyone forgets that, when you do work on yourself and you go through really hard seasons, that when you come out of it, it's that ripple effect, isn't it, through the world? So it's so interesting with everything that happened with the ex-husband, and then you attracted another partner that was also quite heartbreaking. For the people pleasers out there that do experience putting themselves last, there was a pattern happening there, right? And you can attract people of the same. That whole, at the moment, everyone's like, "Oh, there's not enough good men out there." I believe, like, obviously it's very controversial though, but I believe, well, maybe you're attracting the same sort of person. And there is actually a reason. And I do believe that more people that heal and work on themselves, absolutely the world would be such a better place. But I love that you were able to recognize and go, okay, there might be something happening here. And would you say, was it quite confronting? You wanted to save your ex-husband, right? Like, I want to save him, like
Yeah.
he can do better, And so did you feel like you had the same with that other guy, or was it completely different? Talk more into that experience.
Yeah, it was pretty much the same, except for the fact that he needed rescuing from his ex partner. So I was helping him get out of the relationship that he was in, and then we ended up dating and being together, and then he ended up going back to her. Now I look at him like, actually, like attracts like you said, and we trauma bond with everybody. And I was very traumatized, yeah,
Yes.
back in the day, and I've actually attracted that person into my life as well. So and that was absolutely fine. Like attracts like, I've attracted that again because that was what I was going through, and I also needed his help rescuing me from my ex-husband and doing all the divorce papers and everything else with me.
Oh,
So it
beautiful.
was just
Yeah.
that phase in my life where I needed that help and he needed that help as well. But again, it was me like trying to rescue him more than him trying to rescue me.
Yes, definitely. Oh, I love that. That's so cool because I can totally relate like, with when people come into your life. I actually saw someone I used to date and I was like, oh my gosh, I remember what it was like. But yeah, you do trauma bond when you haven't really worked on that. So tell us a bit more about, with your experience and everything like that, how has trauma healing been for you? Like, it can be really scary for people and people don't really understand, like, oh my gosh, I'm broken and things like that. So let's talk into your experience about trauma and everything like that.
Well, as Steve Richards says, and his Aboriginal elder that I'm talking about, he always says people are stuck in a moment in time. You're stuck in that thought pattern, and the thought pattern will become a life form, and then it will become into a physical form. So that thought pattern here that you're stuck in, for example, for me, it was I got to be selfless and help everybody else at the age of 5. That's how young I was locked in. And by me recognizing and going back to the cause of anything that was affecting me right now in life, changing it and replacing it with something more positive. So I made the changes within myself and within my mind and in my spirit. Therefore, I'm not repeating those cycles over and over again. When people hear the word trauma, they feel scared. Some people don't want to look at their own issues, as to say, and they get scared by the word trauma. Trauma is not anybody else's fault. It really isn't. It's all about just being stuck in a moment in time and locking a thought process because of what happened around you. So it's never your fault. So if you are going through so much, trauma or anything that's affecting you or triggering you right now, it's actually not your fault. It's just you need to take responsibility for the thought process that you've locked in your life and change it. That's all that is. It's really personal development, if anything.
Yeah,
And the
absolutely.
reason why we're here on earth is to actually evolve and grow and learn. So why wouldn't you want to look at your own traumas, as to say?
Yeah, definitely. I love that. Did you find it quite scary yourself?
So when I very first started, especially with the Aboriginal healing modality, because it goes deep, I always say it's not for the weak. It's for the people that want to go deep in the healing process. So it goes to the really root cause of anything that's affecting you right now. And so when I first experienced it, I was like, wow, mind blowing. Yeah. And when I did my first course, which is a 7-day course with Steve Richards, I'm like, what? My mind was blown because I was like, oh my gosh, like now I recognize and understand why this is happening. So it was mind blowing and as if I hit my head on the wall for the first, few months till I saw the changes within myself. And then I see the changes within my kids because I'm not reacting to things that they're doing anymore. And it's like, whoa, this is actually good. I want to continue this. I want to do more of this. I want to be a better version of myself, for my kids, for my partner, for the community, for the universe, for all of us, As one person heals, the next person will heal with them. And we rise each other together.
Yeah, I love that. That is such a beautiful motto to live by the way. Like, we rise together and having that just in such unison with your brand. Like, I love that. That is so beautiful.
Thank you.
Um, I think that is it is so true. Like people, oh, I'm so broken and I don't want to work on anything. And oh, it's just too hard. And it's hard to go there. Did you find it quite hard to go there at first? What was your experience with that? Did you find some struggle, or were you, because of everything that had happened and because you're quite a self aware person, did you find it easier? Like, how did you feel? Just for those that are like, oh, I'm going through it now and I don't know if I can go any deeper and things like that.
Yeah, yeah. So I believe the universe will give you stepping stones at your level when you're ready for it. So for me, the stepping stones were the crystals and healing through crystals and doing it myself. And then when I started thinking outside the square, well, I needed someone else to help me energetically because I was so lost and I was so broken that I needed the external world to help me, someone else. I started doing all of that. It was a little bit scary at the start because I didn't know what to expect. I don't know, what are they going to do to me in the session? What's going to happen? And so on and so forth. But once I saw the results, it was profound. And now I can't have enough of it. Like whenever something comes up, every now and then I will like, yep, I'm getting on the table. I need to look at that. What's going on here? Because I want to be a better version of myself for me and for the women that I also help.
Yeah, absolutely. So beautiful. Like, honestly, because, yeah, it's hard because I feel like when you go through it and you really go to the root, and then everything else just seems like, okay, yep, cool, I need to look at this. Like, okay, yep. And things can still be scary sometimes. Sometimes I feel like it's like an ego thing or something that you're like, I don't know if it's actually me, but it definitely is. Like, you know what I mean? Okay, this is something I have to look at. Why is this, like, why am I reacting, or things like that. And I love that you like see such a difference in your kids, because I do feel like your kids do reflect so much to us that people don't realize. Do you feel that?
100%. And I've also realized because I have a daughter, so my daughter is a hologram of me as a mother, and I'm a hologram of my mother. So as I heal myself, I'm actually seeing the ripple effect on her straight away. I can see that she's not reacting to things I used to react to. And she's like, I'm in my power, I'm in my zone, which is absolutely wonderful because it's like becoming a generational breakout. And a lot of people say I'm the generational breakout and so on and so forth. And that's wonderful because you're actually healing the past ancestors, but you're also healing yourself and your future cycles too, which is your children, grandchildren, and so on and so forth. And that's a beautiful, powerful thing to do. If you are the generational breaker out there, like I take my hat off for you for doing all the work for everybody else in the family because it is hard work, but you're doing it for your future cycles too.
Yeah, definitely. I love that you went into that because people don't realize, and people are like, oh, what's a generational breaker? Well, it's definitely not repeating the patterns of what we grew up with and what our mums had and everything like that. So I actually love that you went into that because I haven't really gone into all of that on the podcast before yet. So, because people who are listening, you don't realize that if you're reacting and you're treating your children how you grow up, then you're repeating like a cycle and a pattern that can then continue down the line. But when you start to break, and it is hard to be in the breaker, I do believe it's a lot, and it can come with a lot of friction with the family as well. Don't you think?
Yeah, because my mom didn't like the fact that I was raising my children to feel more empowered. And I'm just saying it out there, all our mums and dads did the best that they can with the resources they had, and it's not their fault as well. She didn't like me being the empowered woman that I am and saying to my kids, well, you do things yourself. She always did things for us. And so it took her a little while to set that boundary as well. And yes, you will face a lot of setbacks from family and things like that, but that's okay because you know what? You stick to your own belief and your own heart, and you have worked really hard to get to where you are right now by doing all the self-development work on yourself, and you are the generational breaker, so why go backwards now? You've already healed the past, the present, for your future.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And I think that it creates such a better future for like our children as well, for them to experience and then to pass down. So it just stops here. So with all the trauma healing and everything, and There's such beautiful work, and especially everything that you've dived into with the spiritual side, which I absolutely love. Let's go to like where you are now. When you discovered your purpose, was there one moment that defined it, or was it gradually everything just sort of unraveling over time? What was the thing like, okay, this is my purpose. Like, this is what I'm here to do. This is what I really want to do. Like, what was that pivotal moment or moments leading up?
The pivotal moments were just, there's no one, to be honest. It was a healing journey. It was a learning journey. It was me actually becoming a better version of myself and a good vessel to be able to hold other women in containers and help them. So once I became the better version of myself and I feel like I'm ready to step out, yeah, like I said, there wasn't really a moment where I was like, oh, now it's time. It was really just preparing. My daughter is also the reason why I feel so empowered, because I want to give her a life to show her that she can do anything in life. And not everybody here is to impact others and heal others, but we're here to help each other in any way and every way possible.
Yeah, I love that. And it's so beautiful as well that your daughter has been the reason to as well. Like, you've really seen her and you want her to make sure that she can grow up and, because then that means that she'll empower other people. She's in her light, she
Yeah.
stays in her light and just is the gorgeous little person that she is, and she'll blossom into. I think that's really powerful. And I think your son as well, with how he will treat a woman, and it will be good for friends to be like, oh wow, how he shows up as well. So I think it all really is powerful, especially when you do have children, because they are such a big legacy we leave behind. And I think that's amazing that you have women in your life that really keep you empowered and keep you there, because that is so important. Because I do feel like when people do get lost, they don't feel like they have anyone.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so I actually thought of just one question before we wrap up, actually. Okay. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Go for it.
If someone was feeling really lost right now and, they're going to make the change and everything like that, what do you recommend is something that they can do to have more women around as a community?
Yeah. So for any woman in business who's feeling lost, I suggest that they go out to a lot of networking events where there's other women. So I also run a We Rise networking event for women in business for my region here in Melbourne, in Whittlesea. So that helps you feel empowered within your business as well. But if you are feeling lost because of being a parent, there's a lot of services out there that you can connect with. So you can surround yourself with other women out there, the social mom clubs, for example, or things that are in your area that you can get out so you're not stuck at home with your children by yourself, to meet like-minded women that are going through the same process as you. That would be very highly recommended for anyone.
Yeah, definitely. I love that one, because I don't think people really think about that actually. So, yeah, I love that. And with social media and everything like that, I do believe that it can be used for good, and we can use it to connect with like minded people for sure. Because I do know everyone wants to demonize social media. um, so, I actually love, and so thank you so much. I absolutely love, love, love talking to you today. So where can everyone find you, like all your socials and everything like that?
Yeah, so I've got Instagram. I'm more active on Instagram than Facebook. So my Instagram page is the letter J, the letter N for Natalie, the letter J again, and then Rise, Rise, Heal, Heal.
Perfect. Love that. They can just DM you and things like that from there.
Definitely DM me. I'm very responsive. I reply back. I'm here to serve. So if you need any help or any support to get through anything, we can organize a connection call and have a chat. It's completely free. It's half an hour. It's your time with me.
Perfect. Love that. So if anyone needs help, you can definitely go into Evett's DMs and give her a message. As long as you reach out, then that's how you're going to be best supported, because it is really hard. And we're definitely here to support and connect with people. So I absolutely love that. And I love you coming on. Thank you so much. Apart from all of the tech, the tech behind the scenes, my goodness. Like we had every reason to be like, you know what, we got to reschedule. But it's like, no, we are doing this. We've got this. We'll find a way. And I love that.
Yeah, as you say that, it's 1:11 on my clock right now, so it's amazing. It's meant to be.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God. It's 11:11 on mine. Ah, I love that.
There you
That's
go.
so amazing. Yeah, literally. Oh, well, thank you so much for joining and
Thank you so
sharing
much
your
for
story.
having me.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. And we'll definitely connect again and have you on.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. And thank you for sharing your voice and also having this amazing podcast. I think it's incredible what you do and just coming out and share with the universe what messages you get, what you need to talk about. It's really, really empowering. And I love what you do as well. And that's why we're sort of both connected because we're doing the same thing. We want to empower other people in life. So I'm so grateful for all the work that you do as well.
Oh, thank you so much. I love that. That's it, everybody, from our beautiful episode. But as she said, you can literally go and follow her on Instagram. I will link all your details into the description anyway, so everyone can find you. So
Thank
that
you
will
so
all be
much.
good. So, yeah, that will be good. And you guys can all tune in and see what your new course is all about, which I'm so excited for you. Ooh.
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to connecting with everybody.
Yeah, it'd be so good. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much.